or your electronic devices, or whatever people carry around nowadays, so that we can enjoy the music without interruption. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the Baroque Orchestra of New Jersey and a little bit about people in the audience today. Today we are very fortunate to have members of the First Unitarian Society of Plainfield. First Unitarian Society of Plainfield built this beautiful building in 1891. And in 2019, they gave the building to the city of Plainfield to be a performing arts center. So, would you kindly stand up, FUS members, if you can, and tell me that you're here? These are the generous people that provided us this building today. Thank you so much for being here. You're always in my heart. So, another thing I want to tell you about is a little bit about the Baroque Orchestra of New Jersey. We planned this concert in 2020. And we all know what happened, so that we waited a long time for this concert. I had the pleasure of meeting Maestro Butts in 2020. He has an unusual goal, not just having a great orchestra like the Baroque Orchestra of New Jersey, but also encouraging young musicians. And my daughter was one of them. So in 2020, my daughter, who was 11 years old and had never stayed up so late, got a chance to play the Marriage of Figaro on the Maestro Butts baton. So he is someone near and dear to my heart, and I'm very, very glad that the Baroque Orchestra of New Jersey is the very first orchestra to play at the Plainfield Performing Arts Center. Coming up. But the things I think music lovers would be interested in is we have a jazz series that will be starting this summer. It's Jazz on Park, and we have free concerts with some world-class jazz musicians, and I hope you join us. And I also want to acknowledge that we are having a concert this week with the piano students of the PA School, and we have their leader here today, Ms. Sang Lee. Thank you so much. So we will be hosting the piano recital this week of 25 young musicians. This is what we do at the Arts Center. We get a chance to really have an opportunity to share with our community. And I'm so glad that some of you who have never been here are here today. Thank you so much. And without any ado, Maestro Butts.
much. My name is Robert Butts. I'm the conductor of the orchestra, and we're so honored to be the first orchestra to play here in this beautiful, what a beautiful space this is, and this gorgeous window behind me. I'm glad I'm looking that way because I'd be distracted by the beauty all throughout the concert. We call this concert, we are starting a project, we call it the Diversity of Beauty Project, in which we do composers from all kinds of backgrounds, from all over. And so we're starting with Scott Joplin. Is there anybody here who did not know that first piece? It's The Entertainer, it's Ragtime, it's Scott Joplin, one of the great African-American composers. So we started with an African-American composer. Our next composer is perhaps a little less known. He's a British composer from the turn of the century, and I realize that I now have to say the last turn of the century, because we're already almost a quarter way through this century. But around the year 1900, Samuel Taylor Coleridge was an African-British composer who was extremely popular. His music is only now being rediscovered. He wrote a lot of music, and he was extremely popular. He was actually more popular in the United States than he was in his native England and in Great Britain. So he composed a lot, and the name might sound familiar to you. His mother's favorite poet of all time was Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And she married somebody named Taylor, and so she decided when she had a son, she was going to name him Samuel Taylor, but because of her favorite poet, she named him Samuel Coleridge Taylor. So that's where he gets the name. So if it sounds like a poet, it's because it was named after a poet. He wrote a set of 4 pieces called novelette, which means little novels for orchestra. Excuse me. Went away. And we're going to do numbers 1 and number 2 from this set of 4, which he published around 1906, or early 20th century. So Samuel Coleridge Taylor, novelettons number 1 and number 2. because does everybody know what today is? Cinco de Mayo. So we have to have a Mexican composer on here. So one of the most prolific Mexican composers around the same time as Samuel Coleridge Taylor was Manuel Ponce. So we're going to do one of his most famous songs. He wrote a lot of songs, a lot of orchestral music, a lot of guitar music, but he wrote this one song which is by far his most popular. So we're going to do our arrangement of Manuel Ponce's Estrellita. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a wonderful Cinco de Mayo. After this is over, we all are going to need a margarita or something. And the second, Emily asked me, about 12 years ago to compose some music to poems by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. So I wrote 3 Elizabeth Barrett Browning songs, or 3 songs on her poetry, and we're going to do one of them, If Thou Must Love Me. So if you please hold your applause until after both songs. Moon Song first, and then If Thou Must Love Me. Would you please welcome Emily Thompson. They asked me to write a piece, and I thought, what am I going to write? There's only strings. I can only write for strings. So I decided to write a piece and also included the wind. And I called it Strings Along the Seine. So if you've ever been to Paris, hopefully this conjures up some memories of wandering along. Of course, you can't go anywhere in Paris without going somewhere near the Seine River. So I tried to just capture some images, and then I adjusted it a little bit when I returned because some of the images I had never been there before. So I needed to change this a couple of minutes here and there. So this is my piece, Strings Along the Seine, premiered in Paris 2 years ago. Medici. We don't know much about her. She lived in the mid-18th century, up to the late 80s. She died in the 1790s. She was a favorite of Empress Maria Theresa and the Emperor Joseph II. She must have known Mozart and Haydn, who hung out in the same circles as they did. A lot of her music has been lost. She was well respected. She was more respected in her lifetime as a harpsichord player than as a composer. But her music wrote a lot. She wrote a number of operas, which, again, the music is missing. I don't want to say lost. It's waiting to be discovered. But we do have the overture to her opera Ulysses, and that's what we're going to play right now. love, it's such a pleasure to see you. One of the first violinists I ever worked with in my life, Bob Schnabel, is here with us tonight. And we have another composer here, and I don't see where she's sitting. So, Amy Wright, where are you, Amy? How am I missing her? Where? Right there. Okay. So, I don't know what I was looking at. She wrote this piece for us. We premiered it about 5 years ago, 6, I don't remember. In a really unforgettable concert. There was a concert in which the lights went out in the theater, and we had to play by stand lights only. And there was no light in the entire audience or stage, but we did it. And we've done it a couple times since. I've come to really love this piece. It's called Winter Dances. And at first I thought it was a little maybe inappropriate to do winter dances on a spring day, but it feels like winter to me, so it fits. And please hold your applause until we do all 4 of these movements. And after this, we're going to take a short intermission, move the piano, and then welcome our guest of honor and the person behind this entire concert, Vicki Griswold, who will play the Clara Schumann piano concerto. First, Winter Dances, Amy Wright, and I'm sure Amy would love to say hello to you during the intermission or after the piece. 10-minute break just to move the piano over here and welcome Victoria Griswold. And we're going to play Clara Schumann Piano Concerto as our final number. So if you need to use the restroom or something, now is the time. It can just be a short intermission, so take your time. Okay, while we're waiting for one or two more people to return, I want to thank you again for coming out and supporting the music, and I hope you've enjoyed the concert. This mix of a lot of this music nobody else is playing. So what you're hearing is, I think, incredibly great music, like the pieces by Samuel Lawrence Taylor. I think very few orchestras are playing them, and some of the other stuff. Of course, Amy Wright composed, I should say, she composed that piece specifically for me in the orchestra. So that's always a real pleasure as well. The last piece on the program is the reason we're here. Victoria Griswold is a legend in the New Jersey classical music world, especially the Plainfield world. She ran the Plainfield music shop for as long as I can remember. And I can remember my first time I met Vicki was about 30-some years ago. I needed some music and nobody knew where to get it. And somebody said, contact Vicki at the Plainfield Music. And sure enough, within a week, Vicki found it and had it for me. So very, very legendary figure in the music scene and in Plainfield. And she came to me a couple of years ago and said, could we do the Clara Schumann Piano Concerto? Another work, as you'll hear, it's a great piece of music, but it's not played that often and not that well known. But now you will know it, and you will hear it and hear what a great composer Clara Schumann, most people know her husband, Robert Schumann. But Clara was one of the first internationally renowned piano soloists. In the 19th century, Clara Schumann and Franz Liszt made the piano solo what it is today. And Clara Schumann also wrote her own music. So would you please welcome Victoria Griswold.
Griswold, and thank you so much, the Baroque Orchestra of New Jersey, and thank you so much, Maestro Butts. I really appreciate it. We have an opportunity here, and I'm going to bring up Miss Sang Lee from Paz to extend an invitation to you.
First, thank you so much, Maestro Butts and Vicky. Wonderful performance, and thank you, Director Chair. Good evening. My name is Sang Lee. I'm a teacher at Plainfield Academy for the Arts and Advanced Studies, aka PAS. It's a public school, more focused on art. So I teach piano at PAS. And this Thursday, we are having a piano spring concert, 6:30 here. So it's open to public, so if you can make it, that'll be wonderful for my students, and I'd be delighted to see you. And the program is out. I put up the program in front of the building, so you may check it out. Thank you so much, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much to the Baroque Orchestra of New Jersey, and thank you so much to Vicki. I don't know whether people know this, but Vicki is part of the Plainfield Arts Council, and the Arts Council donated this Steinway piano to the city of Plainfield. And one of the movers and shakers behind that was Vicki Griswold. Vicki Griswold here today, who is the president of the Plainfield Arts Council. Again, thank you for her beautiful piano. Thank you for coming. I hope you come to our next concert. Just another, I think it's 2 months. We'll be having our first Jazz on Park concert. Thank you.